Scene.org brings you the myth of exposure in the modern music industry. Welcome, everyone. I'm so thrilled to have you here for this explainer because today we are taking a hard look at a word that has honestly haunted independent musicians for decades. It's a concept you've probably heard thrown around in emails, at festivals, or in your DMs 1,000 times. We're going to unpack exactly why chasing it might actually be holding you back, and more importantly, what you should be doing instead. Right out of the gate, I want to hit you with this brilliant metaphor from makingascene.org. Exposure is the unpaid intern of the music industry. I mean, it's so incredibly accurate, right? Think about it. Exposure is always super excited to be there, it never has gas money, and it constantly promises you that it knows people. For years, artists have been told they just need to play for free, feed the algorithm, and stay visible, kind of treating exposure like it's actual currency. Well, today, we're dismantling that whole idea. So here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll break down the myth of exposure. Then, we'll talk about why platforms are just rented land and dive into the leakage problem. After that, we'll map out how to build your revenue engine, explore this really cool fan passport concept, and finally, piece together the new revenue stack. Part 1. The myth of exposure. We really need to challenge this long-held belief that working for free visibility is a valid career strategy. Makingascene.org perfectly points out that exposure is just a door, it's not a house. Now, obviously, visibility matters. Nobody buys music from an artist they literally don't know exists. But exposure by itself, that's not a business model, it's not income, it is definitely not a fan relationship. Modern music culture has fatally confused the door of discovery with the actual house of a sustainable music career. You see, the game has fundamentally changed. Back in the day, the old system built on radio, sure, it was heavily gatekept by executives in suits, but it functioned like a ladder. A radio spin drove people to a local record store, which moved physical product, which moved the charts. The exposure actually had somewhere to go. But compare that to the new system today. Digital exposure isn't a ladder, it's a treadmill. You're creating endless content, hoping something, anything, catches fire. But as Makingascene.org notes, that borrowed attention just burns in someone else's fireplace. The platform gets the data, the ad revenue, and the user session. You just get a number on a screen. Which brings us to part 2. Platforms are rented land. $11 billion. That is the massive payout Spotify says it reached for the music industry in 2025. It's a staggering number, absolutely, and it proves that Spotify is an incredibly valuable tool. But let's be real, Spotify isn't just dropping that cash into every indie artist's checking account like some benevolent tooth fairy. According to Makingascene.org, the issue isn't whether platforms have value. They do. The issue is treating them like your destination. They are great discovery doors, but they make terrible living rooms. Okay, picture this. You post a video, it goes totally viral on TikTok. You hit 1 million views. It feels amazing, until we burst to the vanity metric bubble and ask, congratulations, you were seen. Now what? What actually happens after that massive viral spike? 1 million views feels like success, until you ask the hard questions. How many of those people joined your mailing list? How many bought a record? The algorithm isn't your manager, folks. It doesn't care if your tour van needs new tires. It literally only cares about keeping users scrolling on its app. And this brings us to a really brutal piece of math in the modern music business. A listener is attention, but a fan? A fan is an asset. Think about it. A stream pays out in fractions of a penny, but a fan? A fan buys concert tickets, physical merch, vinyl, VIP experiences. If you're treating social platforms like your headquarters, you're making a massive mistake. Platforms are roads, and you still need an actual destination to bring people to. Let's move to part 3, the leakage problem. This is exactly where your power is leaking out. Maybe you're getting streams, but you aren't capturing any contact info. You have viral posts, but no links back to your own ecosystem. You play live shows where the crowd cheers, but they leave without ever scanning a QR code. You're selling merch at the table for cash, but you aren't grabbing a name, an email, or a city. Every single one of these uncaptured interactions is just lost leverage. Makingascene.org makes it clear. The modern artist's biggest problem isn't a lack of tools. It's this constant, slow leakage of potential. Fixing this requires a massive mindset shift. A working indie artist does not need empty exposure. A working indie artist needs conversion. And let me be clear, conversion does not mean you're selling out or becoming some soulless corporate marketing machine. It just means you are building pathways. It means when someone finally discovers your music, there's an actual clear next step for them to take. You're simply refusing to let tech platforms farm your hard work for their own gain. Part 4. Building your revenue engine. So, how do we reclaim that power? We build a self-contained ecosystem. The ultimate funnel narrative from makingascene.org goes like this. Step 1 is discovery. This is where you absolutely use TikTok, Spotify, and YouTube, but you do not stop there. You move them to Step 2, capture. You bring them over to your self-hosted website. Step 3 is connection, building a direct line, usually through email or SMS. And finally, Step 4, revenue, through direct-owned commerce. Your website simply cannot be a boring digital brochure from 2012 anymore. It has to be an engine. I can hear some of you now. Email, really? Are we in the dark ages? But listen, email is still the anti-algorithm. Every single year, someone claims email is dead. And every year, email quietly pays the bills. No, it isn't sexy, it doesn't have a trending audio clip, but capturing a fan's first name, email, and location, that gives you pure leverage. You can route your tours smarter, announce merch drops, and target local pre-sales, all without begging an algorithm for permission to talk to your own fans. Let's look at part 5, the fan passport concept. This is such a cool missing layer in the indie economy. The fan passport concept basically turns standard, everyday fan interactions into actionable data and loyalty rewards. So a fan attends a live show, they get a digital stamp, maybe through a Web3 tool like a POAP, proving they were there. They buy a t-shirt, that logs into a purchase history profile so you actually know what they like. They join a live stream, boom, that action unlocks exclusive content. Makingascene.org envisions this as a tour diary, a membership key, and a data engine all rolled into one. It transforms a one-off transaction into a living, breathing fan history. And finally, part 6, the new revenue stack. Independent musicians really have to abandon this one big break casino model. This right here is your new business model, the revenue stack. It is not one magic income stream, it's a connected set of smaller streams that all support each other. Streaming creates discovery, merch monetizes their identity, memberships monetize that deep loyalty, live shows monetize local demand, exclusive content monetizes access. And when you connect all of these properly through your owned website, no single income stream has to carry the entire weight of your career on its back. I want to make one thing absolutely crystal clear before we wrap up, and this quote just nails it. Exposure is not the enemy. Exposure without capture is. Makingascene.org is definitely not telling you to delete your Spotify or boycott YouTube. Discovery matters, press matters, viral memes matter, if you're actually ready for them. The whole goal is to use those outside platforms purposefully, taking all that rented attention and directing it straight into your own funnel. Which really brings us to the ultimate thesis of this whole explainer. Attention is the spark. Build the fireplace. Never let your hard-earned visibility just float away like glitter in the wind. Capture it, route it, and bring your fans home to a platform you actually control. You have to build the infrastructure to keep that spark burning warmly for years to come. So the very next time a gatekeeper, a promoter, or an influencer offers you some shiny new opportunity, I want you to stop and ask yourself this one provocative question. Does this exposure produce ownership, data, revenue, or a relationship? If the answer is no, well, it's probably just noise with better branding. The paradigm has totally shifted. It is time to stop begging the algorithm for crumbs and start building your own table. The future belongs to artists who turn attention into ownership. Make sure you check out the other great articles and resources on makingascene.org, the place the indie artist goes to build the new music industry.